Watamote, episode 12, my review. The season has come to a close. This series was a wonderful ride. I really enjoyed it. And this episode really brought everything full circle. Loved the way it was done. All the classic Watamote elements were here in this final episode. From, the dark comedy, depressing moments, their stylistic choices and animation style that Silverlink has been doing with the show, everything was present, and it really just brought closure to the series, or to the season rather. Hopefully we get another season of this as well, because I'm sure they have, I don't know how far along the manga is, but I'm sure they have some more material that they could use. But you really got a sense of closure with this episode, and everything really came around full circle, just with things like her analyzing the past and comparing them to her delusions. I really like that, because we got to see a lot of references to past episodes and shots from past episodes here, and it was really well done. And other things like with the whole portraits in the art room, you get to see, you remember that one episode early on with the fat mangaka and her, and they draw portraits of each other. You get to remember stuff like that. So a lot of reminiscing about stuff that happened in past episodes. I really like that as far as bringing closure to the series. Now, the references and the comedy in this episode were spot on. Really fucking liked them. Especially some of the references like the whole arms dealer shit, like on some Coco Heckmatier shit. For those of you that don't know who that is, figure it out. And everybody should know who Coco is. But yeah, the whole terraformer thing during the cockroach scene, that was really funny as well. And the cockroach scene was amazing, because I love that music that they used, and just how they did it from the cockroach's perspective, like everybody clearing out of the way and everything like that, just for her to step on it, kind of an anticlimactic way, but it was great nonetheless. And that wrap-up scene with her and her brother, her final little consultation with him, she's been going to him pretty much throughout this entire season, and I really think that brought a lot of closure across the board. They really put this episode together well, paced it well, and used key scenes in order to bring things to a close. You get that conversation with Yu where with the whole arms dealer thing, like I was talking about, just thinking about plans for the future, and her trying to continue to fit in her class, and overcome various obstacles while still failing miserably every time, doing completely ridiculous and insane shit, and making you laugh, making you feel sad for her. I really loved Watamote. I really enjoyed watching it, and this episode just reminded me of all the reasons why. That whole thing with Imayan, really liked that character. I wish we would have gotten her earlier on instead of just last episode with the whole cultural festival thing. But for those of you that don't remember, Imayan was the head of the committee for the cultural festival, and she really took a liking to Tomoko, and she really, as you see with this episode, she's really looking out for her. She's an upperclassman. She really, I think that she really that could be a great starting point for Tomoko to make some friends, and I thought that she would actually achieve that at the end of this episode. But then, and the Imayan fan service with the little gust of wind, that was perfect. I like how they included that. Got a little bit of fan service this episode, especially when Yuu-chan rolls through, you get some fucking fan service. So, yeah, there was that. But just the things that Imayan said about her, because of course she runs off ridiculously without being able to say anything, showing that though through all she's done, you've been watching this entire show about somebody who's just been themselves, been a Mojo, been an unpopular girl, which is like referenced in the ending, which I'll talk about in a second. But the whole thing with Imayan, she says basically, she's kind of cute, isn't she? I can't take my eyes off her. She's always determined to do something, and it's true. That really, does speak a lot to Tomoko, in that she is always determined to do something. She is always plotting something, trying to, make the best of any given situation. And even though she fails miserably every time, and even though it's ridiculous, and you feel completely bad for her, and you feel embarrassed for her, it was still an amazing thing to watch. Just that you could get so much entertainment out of, with the ending especially made me really think about it, because she's sitting at her desk looking up the definition of Mojo once again, just like she did at the beginning of the series, and she's basically like, whatever, it doesn't matter. and you had the little announcer in the background talking about, you know, how the story was shaped and everything. It really got me thinking, like, I really sat here and watched this 12 episode series and had a great time, loved it, all just watching this girl who's, you know, pretty much a loner, has nobody, pretty unpopular, pretty socially, you know, inept, and I had a great time watching it. I found it funny. I felt sad for her. I felt bad for her. I felt happy for her. I really grew attached to her, even though there honestly shouldn't be much going on to drive the story. She completely carried this series by herself as a singular character. Tomoko, Kuroki Tomoko is definitely one of the greatest characters this season of anime, hands down. And yeah, I just really love this show. I feel like I've talked a bit more about the show overall than this particular episode, but like I said, this episode just really brought all the elements of the show together for one last episode. Hopefully we get a new season, but I really enjoyed this episode nonetheless. Animation, music-wise, especially with that song during the cockroach scene. You know, that running scene that was going on where she was being chased down by Yu after she ran away from Imayan, all of that. Just love the episode. We got to see all the characters, even just got a quick flash of Yuu-chan, even though, you know, she wasn't a part of the episode. So we got to see everybody a little bit, and I just like the closure that it brought to the whole season. So I'm going to give episode 12 of Watamote, the final episode of the season, a 9 out of 10. Just really reminded me of all the things I love about Watamote and how much I enjoyed this ride of watching the show. And hopefully there's another season. I can't say I'm going to jump onto the manga right this second. I have a bunch of other stuff I'm doing, but hopefully, let me know what you guys thought of this episode, what you thought of Watamote overall, what you think about potentially there being a new season. And for manga readers, let me know if there's enough material for them to even, you know, think about doing a new season, because I really need to know. If not, I'm just going to have to eventually invest myself in that manga. But that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching Watamote Reviews. Peace.